Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today because we're going to deconstruct a topic that affects every single one of us, yet it's so profoundly misunderstood by most of society. We're looking at the architecture of wealth, specifically mindset and money. Now, when we hear the word wealth, our brains immediately conjure up a very specific set of images, right? We think of visible success. But as we're going to explore today, true wealth is rarely what we see on the surface. In fact, the absolute most powerful elements of financial success are entirely invisible. Okay, let's dive into this. What does true wealth actually look like? I want you to picture a highly successful businessman. He's wearing an impeccably tailored suit, walking through a dazzling luxury financial district. He's surrounded by roaring sports cars, high-end designer stores, and towering, gleaming skyscrapers. It looks like the absolute pinnacle of financial success. But here is where the story shifts. If we were to look a little closer, if we could somehow peel back the layers of that cinematic scene, those glamorous surroundings often begin to fade into transparent illusions. Why? Because a flashy lifestyle frequently masks a highly leveraged, incredibly stressful reality. True wealth isn't the sports car, it's the financial security that you can't see driving down the street.
Section 1. The illusion of wealth.
Modern society has created this massive blind spot where we literally equate spending with wealth. Imagine two young professionals who just received the exact same paycheck. On one side, we have the flashy spender. The moment that direct deposit hits, boom, the money is out the door. It's going toward visible luxury, the latest tech gadgets, maybe a lease on a brand new expensive car. It's loud, it's visible, and yeah, it feels great in the moment. But consider the other side, the quiet investor. Their reaction to the exact same paycheck is entirely different. They calmly and deliberately transfer a portion of that money into savings and investment accounts. There's no immediate dopamine hit from unboxing a new gadget. Instead, they're quietly buying invisible financial security. One person is building an illusion, the other is building a foundation.
Section 2. The emotional spending trap and social media envy.
The sheer pace of our modern world makes this trap incredibly hard to avoid. We're bombarded by anywhere from 4,000 to 10,000 ads a single day. Think about how many young adults spend hours in an endless scroll of luxury influencer content on their smartphones. You're constantly looking at expensive vacations, sports cars, designer fashion, and it triggers something psychologists call the hedonic treadmill, this intense, simmering feeling of envy and immense financial pressure, where enough is literally never enough. So what happens? Well, that pressure gets relieved through impulse buying. You walk through brightly lit malls, throwing things in the cart. But as the shopping bags pile up, those flashing credit card notifications start popping up on your phone. And that initial smile, that quick rush of happiness, it inevitably fades into deep, darkening stress and anxiety as reality sets in.
And this brilliantly illustrates the core definition of emotional spending. It's not about buying what you need. It's impulsively buying clothes, electronics, or luxury accessories specifically to satisfy psychological pressures. It's basically a coping mechanism for the very envy that social media creates. But it's a vicious cycle. That temporary high you get from the brightly lit mall rapidly dissolves, leaving behind the heavy, invisible, and often crushing burden of credit card debt. You are quite literally paying 20% interest on your own anxiety.
So let's just take a breath for a second. Let's slow down. If luxury isn't wealth, if the shopping bags and the flashy cars are just a transparent illusion that leads to stress, where does true financial freedom actually begin? How do we break the cycle? This right here is the crucial pivot in our explainer today.
Section 3. The power of patience and delayed gratification.
Financial freedom begins entirely in the mind. It doesn't begin in a bank account, and it certainly doesn't begin out in a shopping mall. It requires an extraordinary amount of emotional control to look at what everyone else is doing, to see those flashy illusions, and consciously choose a different, quieter path. Consider the journey of our disciplined, quiet investor. In the first few months, it's tough. It requires actively ignoring those luxury purchases and instead routing that money into a modern investment app. It really doesn't look like much at first, but as months turn into years, we start to see those investment charts steadily rising. It's the golden hour of patience. And over decades, that discipline results in achieving ultimate financial freedom. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme, it's a get-rich-surely strategy built purely on delayed gratification.
Section 4. Mastering market fear.
Now, to build true wealth, you have to navigate the inevitable bumps in the road. The true test of your financial mindset isn't just how you handle your paycheck on a sunny day, it's how you handle your investments when the storm clouds roll in.
Now, what's really interesting here is how it captures the contrasting reactions during a dramatic stock market decline. Think about the crowd. The moment the market dips, panic sets in. Fear takes over, and they impulsively sell off their investments at a loss, driven entirely by emotion. But look at the quiet investor. While everyone else is panicking, they're maintaining calm confidence. They're carefully studying the market data, looking past short-term noise, and actually taking the opportunity to buy quality assets while they're essentially on sale. They master their fear, which allows them to capitalize on the fear of others.
Section 5. The compound effect.
So, why does that calm confidence pay off so massively? Well, it all comes down to the invisible mechanics of delayed gratification. This is the engine that makes your money grow quietly in the background while you sleep, while you work, and while you just live your life. It all unfolds in 3 compounding steps. Step 1 is simple. Commit to small daily savings. It feels totally insignificant at first. But in step 2, through the absolute magic of compounding, you watch those tiny coins evolve into stacks of cash. Your money literally starts making its own money. And step 3? It's exactly like nurturing a tiny plant. You water it with patience and time, and eventually it grows into a massive, unshakable tree of wealth. You didn't plant a fully grown tree, right? You planted a seed, and you gave it time.
Let's see how this builds over time to witness the exponential growth of invisible assets. Take the rule of 72, for example, which is a fun little math trick. If you divide 72 by your annual interest rate, that's exactly how many years it takes for your money to double. In year 1, the growth is barely noticeable. It's almost frustratingly small. By year 5, it's gaining some real momentum. But by year 10 and beyond, the growth curve shoots upward exponentially. Your money doubles, and then those doubles double. This steady, incredible rise is exactly what happens when you consistently budget, plan, and invest in a calm, organized manner. It is the mathematical reward for emotional discipline.
Section 6. The Psychology of Money.
Escaping that endless paycheck-to-paycheck cycle and stepping away from the illusion of the luxury shopping mall isn't really a math problem. Actually, it's a mental shift. True wealth generation is an internal game long before it ever becomes an external reality. True wealth is the peace of mind found in living below your means, reading financial books, and owning greater assets rather than flashy cars. This is the grand reveal. The person walking through the mall with the most shopping bags, weighed down by the need to project success, well, they often have the least actual wealth. Meanwhile, the modest individual, sitting quietly in their apartment reviewing their goals, educating themselves, and steadily investing, they're the ones holding the true life-changing assets. Their wealth is their peace of mind.
It all boils down to this. Wealth is what you don't see. True wealth begins with mindset rather than money. I mean, imagine a confident individual walking toward a sunrise over a city skyline. They aren't supported by the validation of strangers on social media or the fleeting high of a new designer jacket. No, they're supported by the invisible pillars of patience, discipline, and compound interest. They own their time. They own their future.
Which brings us to the ultimate question you have to ask yourself today. Take a hard look at your own habits, your own reactions to social media, and your own paycheck. Are you building true wealth, or are you just building the transparent illusion of it? The choice and the mindset required to make it is entirely up to you. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this sparks a brand new way of looking at your financial future.